Alright guys, welcome back to today's section on Oghenekeneh Leo, and this is still Candid Speaking with Leo. And if you're new on this channel, I want you to click the subscribe button. Don't move yet. On this channel you get a lot of tips on celebrity gist, real life hacks, business, relationship, a sprinkle of travel vlogs as well. So guys, stay tuned. So on today's video, we'll be talking about men's vulnerability. There is a particular stereotype that every man should man up. They tell you man up, man up, man up. I mean, without considering what your feeling is, what your emotions and all. So I have with me two special guests today. Although they are married, but I've told them not to, talk as married people. They don't talk as singular people, but they are married. I have with me Mr. and Mrs. Oni. Why we go talk rubbish. Let's get into the conversation proper. So men's vulnerability. Let me start with the woman first. So what do you have to say about men's vulnerability?
So generally, men are not vulnerable, and that's because of the way society has made it to be.
Okay.
Society has made it to be that when you are young, as a man, as a boy,
Okay.
don't cry. You're supposed to take care of your take for instance a boy that is like the firstborn. He has the sole responsibility to make sure that everybody's fine, everybody's depending on him. So he grows up with that kind of mentality.
Okay.
And that's why most times when you grow up with that kind of mentality, it creates a wall around you. So it creates a wall around them such that they don't want to be seen as weak at any point in time. They don't want to be seen in their lowest points. So they just try to because of that, or just try to fight the emotions and all that. So generally, men are not vulnerable, and that's because of the way the society has made it to look like.
Wow. So let's go to the man now.
You said wonderful.
so looking at generally speaking.
Okay.
So you as a man, from the man point of view now, would you say it's just about the stereotype thing, or for some people? I was reading something this morning before we had this conversation, and some people were talking about how people feel like the men feel like if they are vulnerable to their partner, to the woman, she might end up using that as a weakness for him rather, at the end of the day. Like she might, use it to talk back at him. That men have a better understanding of handling women's vulnerability compared to women's understanding to handling men's vulnerability. So it's vice versa now. The man has more understanding handling a woman's vulnerability than a man. So a man automatically feels like he should not be pampered. The woman feels that she wants to be pampered more. So what would you say? From the speaking on behalf of the men association now.
Okay. For me, I think aside the whole societal pressure that men get, for them to be, man up for most of the situations happening around them. I also think it would not be nice for us to just generalize that all men or most men. There are still some men that are vulnerable to their partner, and their partners actually handle it very well. She's laughing herself. So their partners actually handle it very well. So I think the already problem now is some women get too emotional sometimes, and then they let those while letting out those emotions, it clouds their judgment, so to say, and then they tend to, as a form of defense or as a form of trying to not look like the weaker vessel.
Yeah.
Those things that the guy has probably told them in the past, they want to now use it again. They're just like a form of defense. Everybody wants to defend more and self at any point. Do you understand? So I think because they allow so much of their emotions, and they can't control what they are thinking at that point. That's why you see some of them, let me use that word, permit me to use it, like misbehave and then do what they do. But I don't think it's a general thing. There are many women out there that still they can handle the vulnerability of their partner. So I also think that men need to understand that you cannot do it alone. You say you want to do this, but you just die. You just die. Life expectancy as a Nigerian, I don't know if I'm permitted to say that it's already very short. You now want to add, do you understand? You now want to add more pressure on yourself. You just kill yourself before your time. So you should try, you know, depending on the kind of partner you have, or you will have studied the kind of partner you have, or the person you're interacting with, you should try to open up. I was reading an article some days back, and he said, you know, that actually more men commit suicide than women. More men commit suicide, and that's part of
it's getting worse.
and that's part of what we're saying generally. You know, men don't want to open up. I think we should try to work on that and open up.
But opening up like that, you know, I don't know, but do you think like men really even have people to open up to? Like, you know, for a man sometimes he feels like when a woman shares his problem with him, he can provide a solution to the woman for that particular problem. But for a man now, he's feeling like, will this woman have a solution to my problem?
To make my problem worse.
You get? So sometimes don't you think that's the reason why men? So what do you think men could do in that aspect?
So I agree with you in that aspect. A lot of times when you open up to someone, many times they don't provide solution.
No, that's because of, it's not that I don't agree. It's because men already have, okay, the way men and women,
the way we are wired,
the way we address issues
yes,
is different.
Okay.
Take for instance now, I'm a woman, like as a woman now,
Yeah.
maybe something happens and then I want to rant. I want to rant to you. I don't want you to be giving me steps, solutions of this what you should do. Just listen and say, oh, okay, but before you even finish ranting, no, don't do that. This is what you should do. But then so a man expects that if I address or share something with you, I want you to think in that kind of way. How do solutions and all that. But then the thing is that women first want to sympathize with you, but most times men don't like it when you sympathize with them.
I bet it's thing.
They want to like sympathize with you, feel the problem, then let's now talk about it. Let's break it down. From while we are breaking it down, we will get solution. But if man is not patient enough for you to first sympathize with me, then let's talk about it. Then let's break it down. As they are talking, solutions should be dropping like that. So I think it's really handle issues like it's quite different, and that's why.
I love this angle that you.
Let me just say something about it. So if we now say, okay, yes, this is the way it is, men are wired this way, women are wired this way, don't you think it is the responsibility of both parties to now reach a common ground? So you won't just say because a man wants you to provide a solution at that point, you want to first do you know, guys.
I was talking generally. That's why most times they are off when they want to share people and they're doing just they turn off and then they just don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. So that's why we need to reach a common ground, because if I'm coming to you and the first thing you are doing is I'm already
you know, for a man, you know, to really play back.
he wants there's a problem, let's look for ways to solve it.
That thing has happened. I have a friend, he was sharing something and the girl just said, oh, we the guys, we already, just like you said, we already
What will you do?
this one, you find money, yeah, you and the girl was like,
Because of that, I'm not even interested in letting them know what
the guy even know when he said, she really pay back. She do want something.
And then another thing is that as a woman too, we are quite emotional about a lot of things. Imagine a man going through his darkest time and then he wants to share it with a woman, and then she's already worried, like over worried on his behalf. And of course, because of the way a man is wired, like I'm supposed to protect, I'm supposed to do this, he will not even want to put that burden of worry on the person. So it makes him lose back and then keep all these burdens in their heart and all that.
So that's why he bottles up, he mans up, and then it takes him a long time. So I think basically a lot of people, because looking at the stages of depression, there are different stages. Like you look at, I've really forgotten that, but I know the last stage, there's something that happens before you get to depression. I once talked about it on my YouTube channel. There's something that happens before you get to depression. So a lot of people they don't make it up to that stage. So they just fall into depression and then they just, end it all. And for some people, when they get to that stage, they're able to find someone to speak to. I think another thing is, Nigerians, we don't value therapy.
Yeah.
Because I was telling someone one day, I said, see, if they take an average at Nigerian family, both the father, the mother, everybody should go for therapy. Forget church. Everybody should first go for therapy. Because if you when you go for therapy, that's when you know that so you are going through this kind of thing and nobody will. Because a lot of us grew up with so many wrong mentalities that it is now we're now trying to unlearn some things. Then you now realize, for me, if a woman buys me a gift, is a problem. To be honest, that's part of vulnerability. That's how we are wired. Because you feel like it's like, do you mean that I cannot afford this thing? Yes. What's that?
I think I read on Instagram. I think I was watching on Instagram post one time, and then this marriage counselor, she was talking about how the fact that she and her partner, like, they've got to understand each other. The fact that she is a kind of birthday person, like, when it's my birthday, like, you have to start planning 1 week ahead, party for but the husband is the kind of person that even the day she bought a gift for him on his birthday, it was irritated. It was like, oh, this one would you bring people? I'm like, I'm not a fan of this gift. So it was like, and most men are like that. It's like, don't buy gift for me. And then everyone's like, I'm not nobody for it. Is it okay? Like, is everything like, are you sure?
For a man, it feels like they are tampering with his ego. It feels like even when a woman offers to like, okay, let me pay this. Like, come on, why would you do this? It's just the Nigerian mentality. Like, so vulnerability now, what would you say, your advice to men from the woman point of view now?
So, from my own point of view, I would say that number one, it's very important to understand that you cannot do everything. You don't have the solution to everything. The truth is, the pressure on a man is already so much that you don't even want to, like, it's like, even before they even start having to, like, fend for the family and all that, the mental pressure is a lot. It's a lot. So you cannot just have a gathering of people that you know that you can easily reach out, you can talk to. And in this era that we have, knowledge is very important.
Right.
It's very important to, like, have knowledge about like a woman. If you want to, like, maybe get married or be in a relationship, I would advise that read books. Learn how a woman thinks, how a woman sees things. Then the woman should also do the same, vice versa, so that there won't be a lot of clashes. When I'm reacting in a way, you have a knowledge, you understand, and it's easier for you to, like, act to that reaction. Do you understand? So that's why I think I would say surround yourself with people that you can talk to, that you can trust. Number two, gather very useful knowledge about the environment.
Very interesting. So, as the man now, I don't think man matters sometimes. So, as the man now, what's your advice to men being vulnerable to their partner?
I'll just say that you cannot be able, like you said, try to open up when you need to.
Cry if you need to cry.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be every time. It won't be every time you want to open up.
Yeah.
Just because if you open up every time, there's sometimes you just make things worse for you. So when you feel the need to open up, please do. You can't do it.
Interesting. I really love that. It has been an amazing time. So, vulnerability, another important thing is everybody should learn emotional intelligence. It's very, very key. Emotional intelligence, once you have a very high knowledge of emotional intelligence, it solves a lot of problems. In fact, I would say like about 70% or 60% of the problem is solved. The others you can strike a balance to it, and that's one area that we Nigerian men, we don't have, because we saw our parents, our dads do a certain thing, so we just felt like this is the right way to do things. So we don't even want to unlearn, and that's why you see a lot of Nigerian men when they travel abroad, it's difficult to cope with their wife, because the women now say that they even have more power compared to when they are in Africa. So that's why you see a woman, it's easy for the woman to send her husband, "Oh God, leave this house, I don't want to." I don't say you go to send your husband. But men should learn emotional intelligence, and that way we can solve a lot of our problems. Learn to go for therapy. When you are going through a particular problem in your relationship, in your marriage, go for therapy. note, disclaimer, your pastor is not a therapist. Let's not get it twisted. Sorry,
Good
I'm a
to get
Christian.
information from a
Yeah,
non-biased.
a non-biased. Don't even go to someone you know. Someone who doesn't even know you, a total stranger. And while you are going through therapy, pray as well. It's very important. Spend time with God, and I mean, it's okay. So
It's a journey. A continuous journey.
Almost thought I just looked at you like this one that started this journey, but me, we are still. We still see the carry on the go where we don't know. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I really love you too. Thank you for coming. Yeah, thank you very much. The guy is so cute, and look at his beautiful wife. Because love is sweet, I beg. Alright, thank you very much. If you love this video, kindly click the share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and don't forget, the pressure is getting worse on men, please. So, yes, before we go, I would like you to tell us your handles, how we can follow you on your social media.
All my social media handles at Farm Radio. Farm Radio is spelled PHARMRADIO.
Okay, at Farm Radio. Then no underscore together. So you can kindly follow him at Farm Radio. I'd have loved to tell you his wife, but no. There's no.
Once you are following me, you are following
her. So you can follow him at Farm Radio on TikTok, on Instagram, everywhere at Farm, on Twitter as well. Yeah, at Farm Radio. He's a pharmacist. He holds a lot of medical spaces on Twitter. He joins medical spaces. They always invite him to talk. And, Farm Radio. It's not easy to be Farm Radio. He will talk. So, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye for now.